Right folks, so we start on box sequence 2. So we're doing CBs at once per week because of the thousands of hours which are going into the organ restoration job. So we've got two Cobra remote sets. I don't know which one's which. I think one's been 24 volted and the other says it lights up but doesn't do anything else. Well, one of the obviously, I think this is the earlier one from about 1999-2000, where you've got most of the electronics in there, because the later one I think has a sexier looking handset, but I think most of the electronics is in the handset on that one. So I'm hoping it's the earlier one with the electronics mainly in here, which means you can do something with it. And for a start, the multi-connector, the cable is loose. So I think the first thing to do with this, before we start worrying whether it's had 24 volts or whatever on it, is to actually open up this connector and see if something has come adrift in here. Let's use this huge screwdriver on it. I've got no service information whatsoever on these. There seems to be no support. So I appreciate these are now 20 years old if it's the one I think it is. Okay, so we've got the grey wire astray. We've got the green wire astray. This is what happens when the cable grip is loose like this. So it's possible that the green goes where you think it does. Let's see if I can find our own sample set. Well, I can't find our sample. I've got two of the later sexier one, which doesn't seem to work as well or be as repairable. This is definitely the better one of the two. And he's sent the other set in also with its mic. So we'll open up the other mic, and hopefully this won't have got wires falling out of it. Because this is where you really do come unstuck if you've got no service information. Right, so the clamp snapped on this plug. So hopefully we'll find a clamp off a new plug for him rather than rewire the whole thing. Yeah, this looks like it's factory original. I think the best thing for us to do is to draw out the pin out on this. So it's Cobra whatever 75 STEU made in China. So we'll do this. These are numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not exactly round. 8 is the one in the middle. So if we do this solder pin view, it goes that way round. Because they're numbered. And they're numbered the opposite way. So that means by the time you've turned it that way, to make it easy to wire, so your kind of indent is there. That's the way to do it. So pin 1, red, brown, white, green, braid, white audio, because it's wrapped with the braid, blue. And I can see a grey wire in there, so that is grey. We'll come back to that. Now these are falling off all over the place, so I think the best thing to do, we'll look at what wires that we've got in. So we've got red, brown, yellow in this case, green, you know what, this doesn't look, I can't see the screen in this. Is this an unscreened? No, it's there. Yes, it is, it's there. White. So they've got yellow instead of the first white. Also put yellow if that's the case in some of these. Okay, so the best thing for me to do is to unsolder. No, we won't unsolder it, we'll cut it off, because we need to redress this and lose an inch. I'll just chop it off there for now. I just want to lose that bit, the kinky bit, because if we're going to sort this out, I think we're best off starting again. So I'm going to get, I can't use my jig because I haven't got an 8-pin jig, so I think we're going to have to use a little vise. So I'll probably do this off camera in Mr. Chippie's workshop, if I can get in there for the radiogram I've put on there. And we'll put some heat shrink tubing on there as a bit of a strain relief. The see-through one which was already on there was a bit knackered, I think is the word. So do that off camera, that's what we're going to do. Right, so back from Mr. Chippie's workshop, more or less got sleeving round those as well. I didn't manage it on the earth one, but that doesn't matter anyway. So our new bit of heat shrink will help it clamp up properly. This is why it's important, if if you see the cable grip starting to fail, you really need to nip it in the bud. See, there were 2 wires off, and it wasn't going to be good to put the broken wire back on because others would follow. And the first time the customer uses it and another wire off, it reflects badly on us. So that was why the best course of action was to redo the whole thing. I managed to clean up the plug okay, so remove the old solder, so we didn't have to sell him another plug. I don't even know if we have 8-pin ones in stock. So I'll put the small screw in first. We'll get the heat gun up on that later on, but it is firmly in the cord grip. Now I'm not going to just plug that in and switch on. I'll tell you what, while we're at it, we'll just put this one back together as well. That's the post just appeared. So we want another clamp because this one's broken. Probably a bit between trying to tighten it properly and the fact that it's 20 years old. I think we've got a new 4-pin plug here, which we've chopped off something else. Sometimes when we buy mics, we're paying for and they come with 4-pin plugs on which we don't need. So, whoops. So it's not like they're scrap and it's not like they're old. They are new, but it does mean we can pinch parts like this. And drop them on the floor and that. And hope that they fit. There's something sticking out there. There's the metal bit of crimp there, which is just interfering with this. Right, that's definitely in. So again, this would have gone back, the clamp would have broken, the wires would have fallen out, and we'd be back to square one on this one too. So we've got a nice new clamp, job done. So we'll come back to that one, that's the other set. Probably next week's special. So I'm going to open this up because we don't know whether it's the one which has had the problem with the 24 volts up it. And a quick look at the capacitors. What I don't want to do is to power it up. There's already a malfunction, and then I make that worse. That's a screw on the floor. Hopefully it's the right lid. Yep. So this doesn't look like it's been 24 volted. We can't see any capacitors in distress in there. I can't see any reason why we can't power that up, and so we'll do that. Right, we'll plug in our newly done mic. We'll plug the aerial into the test equipment. And these don't have a body speaker like some of these type of sets do, like the Realistic did. It's just the one in the mic. So we'll go to the extension speaker, switch on the power. Okay. No idea what 6B means. 19. Channel up. Press transmit. Let's go for picture in picture. And it's doing 2.9 watts, which is about what you'd expect. And we have receive at 0.95 microvolts. Hello? Where's it gone? Signal meter. Now, why is this disappearing off? Got the scrolls coming in. I don't know whether we've got a dirty squelch control. Why is it on all the time? Anyone got any ideas? Let's try the other handset. Take the power off. Power back on. this other handset isn't doing anything at all. And this handset you know what? I wonder if I've got a lock on. It's working fine now. How would that affect on and off? Let's try. I don't know. So I don't know what 6B refers to. Oh, I bet it's GB, isn't it? That's what it means. So how do we put it into CPT? Because that's what it does. Or does it wrap round? No, it doesn't wrap round. It's not one where you switch it on whilst pressing that button, is it? Now we'll have to look in the instructions. I'm sure to have got them on file. It's locked up doing that. Well, it likes crashing, doesn't it? So now nothing's happening on the handset. Right, unpower it, power it back up. Doesn't like that. Well, all I can say is it isn't happy, is it? Yay! It's finally decided to boot back up. Right, channel 20. Let's go through the transmitter. I know we've done these before, so not sure we've got anything on the transmitter. And my notes are all filed away because we weren't going to do any CBs this year at all. So I think this is all going to be receive. I have to have a look. I'll probably look at our repair video from the last one, because what I don't want to do is to fiddle with all these and waste time. So moving on a few days, I'm not sure whether this handset is right. So I've opened it up, so you got some bits in there. I'm going to just clean that contact there. I'll just touch those very carefully with the brush just in case. But it didn't seem to me like they were all functioning. So that's the contacts clean, so we'll put this back together. So we'll just put them down somewhere near and then we'll tighten them in a sensible sequence when they're all just about there. Right, I'm happy that one can go in. Normally try and start in the centre and work outwards, so nothing's under any strain. Plug the connector back in, if that's the right way around. Into the cord grip. The rubbery bit. Right, we'll see whether that works any better. No. Something isn't right. Now, something else I noticed, before we carry on with that, is when I looked at the other microphone, for the other set, I don't know which one's the one which has been 24 volted. Do you remember we checked this one for the wiring? This is dead. So is this the one that's been 24 volted? Because at the rate we're going, we're going to end up sending back two sets that don't work. So what I can't see is anything blown apart in this. Get the test meter out. And see whether this is negative earth. Especially if we have it on volts. It is. So I would expect real power to go up to this switch. And nothing goes up to this switch. Now look, that red wire's got 13.8 volts on it. Oops, you can't see at all. I'm saying look at that, and it's not happening. So pin 1's got 13 point. It's got the rail voltage on anyway. So I'd expect there to be power. Perhaps it switches the negative. That's always possible. So we'll do it the other way round. I'll put the prod on positive, and we'll touch the chassis of this, and it's negative, and it's negative there. So it looks like it switches the negative. I say that because the far side of the switch is going to the earth plane there. So unless this was positive earth, which it obviously isn't on a product like this. So where's that go? So I'll take the little screws out of this one, and we'll see whether this has blown its brains out on the other side. I can't see any snags visually. So we know it's not the cable, which is something. So I'm going to look into this and just see if there's something obvious. But chances are this is the one that's blown up. Right, pause the video. Right, so I've programmed it to be in EU1 mode, and that's done by switching it on by holding the ST button, then using the up and down. So that has now made our AMF button work. So if I no, we know it's working. We'll put it on AM. We'll go to channel 20 and we'll see which of those two affects the AM modulation. Right, so we'll key up. I'll switch picture in picture. I know it's already on, and we'll have it on there. Now then, both those capacitors are getting hot. That is not good. Right, so key up. Oh, it does 2.5 watts. Perhaps one of those affects power. That doesn't. And that doesn't. So let's look at modulation. So I'll switch the test set to modulation. We'll tune it in. Wallow. 1, 2, wallow. So get the tone generator. It's a bit of a faff this because I'm holding it all together. So we'll look at that and see which one affects it. Not that one. Well, that's strange. I'll look back at our notes. So moving forwards, Mr. Chippie is back, and he's done these capacitors for us. So we'll just I've got the printer going in the background. We'll just zoom in on that a bit and show you what's going on. So you've got two capacitors which are surface mount. So there's the non-working one, which has been 24 volted, and you've got two surface mount electrolytics there. So on this one, it was a bit flaky in operation. This is the one we've been tuning, and what I got Mr. Chippie to do was to remove those and to put in conventional ones. These are Nikon and they're 105 degree rated, because even with uprating them, they are above ambient temperature. I would say they're operating at about 34 degrees. So we don't want to replace them with that type of thing. So hopefully that will make it more reliable. But of course they are 20 years old, these now, aren't they? And they're not really as repairable as older sets. So we'll put the lid on that, and then we can just finish off the tuning, and it can go back to the customer, seeing that it's been here about 6 weeks. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with this handset from the one that's been 24 volted. Had there been a circuit diagram available, might have had a fighting chance, but no. Now yesterday one of the viewers left a comment about using the audio oscillator that I use. I just realised I've got picture in picture and nothing on it. We'll take that off. When we're setting up the audio like we're about to do on here, because we know, I'll just get my notes. We know that the top presets transmit power, so we knew that this one down here is deviation, so we have to kind of guess that these are going to be AM, and that's why I've put it into AM on the Euro channels. So we'll key up. I can't show you this because the camera is disabled at the moment for some reason, so I'm going to have to show you this, so we're going to have to pause the video. So I'll tell you what, we'll discuss this little oscillator I use. So this is called Chromatic Tuning thing. It's not a guitar tuner, it's for chromatic instruments. That means ones that do all 12 notes in the octave, not just the 4 strings of a guitar. And it's set for A equaling 437 Hertz. Now, those of you who know about music, A equals 440 Hertz since 1914, but we've got this set to 437, and we've got it to B flat, because that is something like 998 Hertz. So it's a cheap way of providing an audio oscillator for doing the deviation or the modulation with. So we'll just key that up, and you can't see anything, and I'm going to have to see what we can do about that other camera. I failed to record what I was just saying, so hopefully we discussed the capacitors. We've had this in AM, and I've made sure the modulation is set to about 90%. It turns out that this preset is AM mod, the lowest one. That's something we've learnt. We've put it now back into UK channels, and we'll just switch it on and show that, especially if I plug the mic back in, and just show that it's somewhere near the frequency, which we've said isn't adjustable on these. So as you can see, that's doing 2779094, which is as near as we're going to get, and for the UK it's GB. So we've got rid of the flakiness, So if I didn't show how to program it before, turn the radio off, switch it on pressing the ST button. It then puts us into the MultiNorm menu, and we can go through these. I'll go back to UK. Well, if I had it in EU, for example, do that. We can now select between AM and FM, which you can't in any other. So we've been able to set the AM, as I say. So we'll go out of that, switch it off, switch it back on, reset it for GB. There's GB, press that, switch it off, switch it back on to verify. And there we have that working. So we've got the deviation, 1, 2. We're in FM, 1, 2. I set that on CPT, didn't I? 1, 2, wallow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, wallow. So we've got that now. I'll go back to that meter so you can see that. 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, wallow. There we have it. We've got full deviation 2.5. When it was in AM, it was doing 90% modulation. What else do we need to say? We're going to put the lid on it, and so I don't think there's going to be much hope of the other one. I will just power it up and we'll see before we close this video. And this has been on the bench for about 2 weeks, and it does hold up other people's jobs, which is annoying for them. There's so little time I can put into CBs at the moment. So we've got this radio on. Let's swap the test instrument to the aerial, and we'll do a scratchy corner test with Mr. Chippie later, and I think we'll be moving on to the next set. Now, there's nothing we can do with that other handset, but we'll just see if the other main body's working. So here goes. We'll turn the squelch down. I'm still on the extension speaker because the little speaker built into there, well, we'll do that. Usually pretty lousy, so go to 19. Oh, somebody's out there. 1-9er, Roger.
Can you get at it? Can you see it? Can you get round the corner?
So put the squelch on. We'll just pause the video and we'll get the other main body. Okay, so I've plugged the good mic head into the potentially bad radio, and the other radio is working. So there's nothing we can do with the other mic head, so it's going to be... you've got to bear in mind that the power goes through this thing first, and it's got all these complex chips in it, hasn't it? So something's zapped in there. We've examined it, for the obvious things like that transistor and the capacitors being short and that, but something pretty major has failed on that. So I'll ask him what he wants to do, because I think this is going to be a situation where we're generating a scrap set. So we've done one, and the other 24 volted one is zapped. So thank you for watching. We'll do an on-the-air test later with the one that actually works. The Cobra 75 ST from about the year 2001.